Have you ever felt that moment, Leo, when you know the perfect grammar rule, but the English words just won't come out?
Oh, absolutely. It's like your brain has a little internal debate club that takes 5 minutes to agree on a sentence.
Exactly. You're thinking, is it the past perfect continuous? And by the time you decide, the conversation has moved on.
And then you just nod and smile awkwardly.
Yep. Today, we are tackling that exact frustration. That feeling where your knowledge is high, but your speaking flow is low.
Hi, everyone. I'm Leo.
And I'm Mia.
Welcome back to the English Blend. We are here to help you get more natural with your English.
Today's topic is super important because it changes how you look at learning. We're talking about fluency versus accuracy.
It's a classic battle, right? Many learners think they need to be 100% accurate before they can speak fluently.
Exactly. They wait for perfection, and that waiting is what stops them from speaking.
So let's define this simply for our A2 to B2 friends listening. What is accuracy in English?
Accuracy is about correctness. It means perfect grammar, using the right tense, making sure your prepositions are flawless, and your vocabulary choices are precise.
It's the stuff you learn in textbooks. It's important, of course.
It is important, but fluency is different. Fluency is about flow. It's the ability to communicate your ideas smoothly, without long pauses, so the listener can understand your point.
Fluency is communication. Accuracy is perfection.
That's the core message we want everyone to take home today. Fluency equals communication, not perfection.
Think about it this way. If you go to a cafe and order a coffee and you say, "I want coffee black," is it 100% accurate? No, you missed A or 1 and maybe "I would like," but did you get your coffee?
Yes.
The communication was successful. You were fluent enough to achieve your goal.
That's the goal, getting your point across.
And this brings us to the biggest blocker for fluency, grammar.
Ugh, the grammar block. We hear this all the time. Students tell us, I study grammar for 2 hours every day, but when I speak, I freeze.
Because when you speak, your brain shifts into correction mode instead of creation mode.
It's like driving a car and having to consciously think about every single gear shift and every mirror check at the exact same time. You would crash.
That's a perfect analogy. Speaking naturally, it means the process has to become automatic.
If you are focusing on the rules, do I need the here? Is this a gerund or an infinitive? You completely interrupt your speaking rhythm.
You hit a wall, you stop the flow.
Exactly. You hit a wall, which is a great phrase for our language focus later. You stop. And that hesitation makes you feel less confident, which makes you hesitate more the next time. It's a terrible cycle.
Native speakers make grammar mistakes all the time. I said I was going to went yesterday, didn't I?
You did, and I understood you perfectly.
Because the goal was shared understanding, not perfect sentence structure. Our brains are designed to fill in the gaps.
And this is why we often say that learning English is more like learning to ride a bicycle than learning math. You can study the physics of the bicycle all day, but you won't learn until you get on and fall a few times.
You have to accept those falls. The mistakes are just part of the learning curve. They are not the end of the world.
Definitely not the end of the world, Leo. That's another great phrase we should look at.
Let's talk a little about a cultural note here, Mia.
Please do.
I remember traveling in Asia, and I was trying to communicate with a shop owner using just terrible, basic phrases in the local language. My grammar was maybe 10% correct.
Very basic level.
Very basic. But I was persistent. I used hand gestures, simple nouns, and lots of smiles. The owner understood I wanted to know the price of the souvenir.
You got your point across.
I did, and the interesting thing was they were so happy I was even trying. They weren't correcting my grammar. They were helping me achieve my goal.
That's the key difference between the classroom and the real world. In the real world, people value the effort and the message.
No one is grading your conversations at the market or in your office meeting.
They are just trying to understand the next step in the project or what time you want to meet at the cafe.
So if the focus shifts from perfect grammar to clear communication, suddenly the pressure is off.
The pressure is totally off. And when the pressure is off, you start to speak faster and more automatically.
It sounds simple, but it's a mental shift that takes practice. We need to train our brains to stop self-correcting in real time.
How do we do that, Leo? Let's get into the practical steps. Our listeners need tools to move past the grammar block and embrace fluency.
Tip number 1, and this is huge, massive listening.
Massive listening, not just passive listening like having the TV on in the background. We mean focused, active exposure.
Exactly. If you want to speak naturally, you must internalize the rhythm and structures of natural English. You don't learn those rhythms by studying tables of irregular verbs.
You learn them by hearing how native speakers use those verbs naturally, in context.
Think about all the common fillers we use like, I mean, sort of. These are essential for sounding natural and buying yourself time when speaking.
And you only pick those up through massive listening. Listen to podcasts like this one, watch YouTube videos, listen to audiobooks.
The more you hear, the more those natural chunks of language sink into your subconscious.
That's tip number 2. Learn in chunks, not individual words.
This is revolutionary for many students. Stop memorizing single words like opportunity or necessary.
Start memorizing phrases that are always used together, the chunks.
For example, instead of just learning the word schedule, learn the chunk, I need to check my schedule.
Or instead of learning look forward, learn the chunk, I'm looking forward to hearing from you, or I'm really looking forward to the weekend.
When you speak, your brain doesn't have to assemble the sentence word by word like a difficult puzzle. It just pulls out the pre-assembled chunk.
It's like grabbing a ready-made building block instead of having to find 10 tiny Legos and click them together under pressure.
It drastically increases your speed and decreases your error rate because the chunk you learned is already correct.
We use these chunks constantly in everyday situations. Think about ordering food. You don't say, a sandwich I would like to eat now.
You use the chunk, can I get a turkey sandwich? Or I'll take the usual.
See, learning in chunks is a direct route to fluency.
And for our third tip, this is how you force yourself to stop overthinking and start speaking. The 3-second rule.
I love the 3-second rule. It's tough love, but it works.
When someone asks you a question, or when you need to jump into a conversation, you have 3 seconds to start your answer.
1, 2, 3. Speak.
You cannot spend those 3 seconds translating the sentence perfectly in your head, thinking about verb conjugations. You just have to start saying something.
Even if you start with an imperfect filler like, well, that's a good question.
That counts. That gets the motor running. It forces you to prioritize flow over accuracy.
If you wait longer than 3 seconds, the opportunity passes, or your internal editor takes over and ruins everything.
And the beautiful thing about the 3-second rule is that it trains your brain to trust those language chunks we just talked about.
It teaches you that imperfect communication is far better than silent perfection.
So to recap the practical tips so far, massive listening, learn in chunks, and use the 3-second rule.
We could add a fourth, which links back to our introduction. Record yourself speaking.
This can be painful, but it's effective.
Yes, it is slightly awkward, but listening back helps you identify where you slow down. Is it prepositions? Is it modal verbs?
And often what sounds like a massive mistake in your head sounds totally normal and understandable when you play it back.
It gives you evidence that you are communicating effectively, even if you made a small slip-up.
It takes away that mental judgment. You become your own coach, not your own harsh critic.
Okay, let's move to our language focus segment. We mentioned 3 great, useful phrases that help frame this whole discussion on fluency and mistakes.
Phrase number 1, to get your point across.
We used this earlier. If you get your point across, it means the other person understood the essential meaning of what you were trying to say, even if the delivery wasn't perfect.
It's the ultimate measure of successful communication. For example, I didn't use the perfect tense, but I still managed to get my point across to my manager.
That means success. The message landed. It doesn't matter if you landed gracefully, it just matters that you landed. Phrase number 2, to hit a wall.
We all do this when learning. When you hit a wall, it means you reach a point where you feel stuck, frustrated, or unable to progress further.
It's that moment when you are trying to speak and suddenly you feel that block, that mental freeze. I was trying to explain the project details, but I hit a wall when I couldn't remember the word for inventory.
It's natural to hit a wall. When you feel yourself hitting a wall, take a breath, use a filler phrase like, let me rephrase that, and try again.
Or you can simply say, I need a moment to think. That's natural English too.
And our final essential phrase for managing the stress of learning, it's not the end of the world.
This is all about perspective. When something bad happens or you make a big mistake and you tell yourself, it's not the end of the world, you are reminding yourself that the consequences are minor.
You make a grammatical error in an email, it's not the end of the world. You mispronounce a colleague's name, it's not the end of the world. If you miss a flight, maybe it's a little closer to the end of the world, but in language learning, it's just a chance to learn.
We want our listeners to internalize this idea. Mistakes are data. They tell you what you need to work on next. They are not the end of the world. Okay, let's go back over those tips and concepts, Leo. This is all about shifting perspective.
We need to remember that the language learning journey is long, but it should be focused on utility. Can I use the language to do things? Can I order food? Can I ask directions? Can I discuss work?
If the answer is yes, then you are fluent enough.
And the more you prioritize that flow and communication, the more natural your speech will become.
Think of it like a musician practicing. They don't learn one perfect note and stop. They practice connecting the notes into melodies.
They prioritize the song over the single perfect note. That melody is your fluency.
So, our main message today remains: focus on getting your message out there. Fluency over accuracy.
Stop pausing for 5 seconds to check the third conditional. Just use a clear, simple sentence and move on.
Use massive listening to absorb the sounds and the rhythms of English.
Use chunks so your sentences are ready-made building blocks.
And apply the 3-second rule to force yourself into real-time speaking mode.
We encourage you all to try these steps this week. Go to your local coffee shop and try the 3-second rule when ordering. Don't plan the sentence beforehand.
Or, next time you are texting a friend in English, send a short voice note instead of typing. Force yourself to speak without the backspace key.
It's going to feel uncomfortable at first, like trying on new shoes. But once you break them in, your walking, or rather your speaking, will be much smoother.
It's a muscle memory thing. You have to train your mouth and your ears, not just your eyes reading grammar books.
And remember those useful phrases. Your goal is to get your point across. If you hit a wall, just breathe, because it's not the end of the world.
That was a great talk. We hope this episode gave you the courage to let go of perfectionism and embrace communication.
Yes, next time we're going to dive into how to use phrasal verbs naturally, so your sentences stop sounding like textbook examples.
We'll give you the common ones that we actually use every day, so make sure you subscribe.
Thank you so much for joining us on The English Blend.
Yes, see you in the next episode of The English Blend.